Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT on September 21st, 2016, and well, the show started off with Samoa Joe, and basically talking about what he had done last week, with Shinsuke Nakamura saying he's going to be in the hospital for a period of time, and apparently he had gotten the medical report, and starts going over the entire medical report of everything. It says that Nakamura is going to be out for 6 to 12 weeks, and Regal eventually does come out, and I feel like this is where the main storyline, at least for a little while, is going to be, is like Shinsuke, or not Shinsuke, but William Regal and Samoa Joe. You kind of have this little back and forth between the two of them. But Regal confirms the injuries, but he has not spoken with Shinsuke, so he does not know what the full situation is at the moment. So Joe is trying to get the title off of Shinsuke Nakamura and pass back along to him, or done in some way, shape, or form that way. So, and of course, Regal says, you've caused this problem, but I'm going to be the one that fixes it. And everything in that sense. And then Joe kind of gives him the ominous ultimatums, like, you know what, if you don't do something about this soon, basically your entire roster is going to look like that medical report. And basically says, like, yeah, I'm going to go after everybody in there. And this promo came off rather well between the two of them. I'm not sure if this is going to lead into a match, or if it's going to lead into what it's going to lead into in that sense, but there's going to have to be something between Regal and Joe here in the very near future. I don't know what they're going to be doing with it, though. You'll also, before we had the matches for the night, you had a promo from Cedric Alexander. So Cedric Alexander is making his debut on NXT, even though he had done his bit on Raw. Now he's doing something on NXT to go along with everything. Relatively good promo from them, basically kind of going through what he had said about the Cruiserweight Classic beforehand. It's like, the crowd really brought me here, and it's like, I'm gonna do everything I can. He says, I go to Regal and I want the best competition. He says he's gonna give him Andre Cien Almas for tonight. So the main event is basically laid out there for you. But first, in the terms of matches tonight, you had Austin Aries going up against Oni Loken. This match was going to be surprisingly good. This guy was the one that they played the whole upset thing with earlier in the year with Ty Dillinger, and so they, you were kind of assuming, it's like, okay, they're going to probably just use this as a way to put over Austin Aries a little bit more before he has a match with Hideo Itami. But this match surprisingly came off rather well. Like, they had Oni get a lot of offense in to go along with it. Though they did play it a little bit weird. Like, he was doing this bit where he would, like, everything he would do would go into a side headlock for a little bit. So a little bit awkward in the terms of the offense and how they're going to play off everything. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this guy down the road, if they continue to use him in any way. But like I said, pretty good match between the two of them. Austin Aries, of course, calls out Hideo Itami, assuming that Hideo wasn't going to be there this week. Hideo comes out, and Austin Aries runs off. So pretty good segment to go along with everything. You also had a Liv Morgan and Asuka promo. So Liv Morgan was kind of, saying, it's like, why does she feel like she's ready for Asuka? And she goes through the whole aspect that she's not going to be someone who always stays down at the bottom. She came here to NXT to become the top person and everything in that sense. And of course, all of a sudden you get like this little scared look in her face, and Asuka appears on the screen and says, and literally just says, "You think you're ready? Let's find out." And apparently they've set up a match for next week with Liv Morgan and Asuka, and we'll see how they play that off. If they play it off as, maybe Liv Morgan can hold her own against Asuka or something in that sense, or they just do some kind of squash match with it to go along with everything. So up next, you had Aaliyah going up against Billie Kay. And first things first, Aaliyah, like the last like each time we've seen her on the program, she's either been, like, first time it was with Asuka and she kind of played more the face role, and then she was up against Liv Morgan and she kind of played the heel role, and now she went up against Billie Kay and is now playing the face role again. So they need to determine what Aaliyah is in that sense, if they're going to be using her more. Now they're just using her as a somewhat of an enhancement talent at the moment, so they don't have a full character behind her yet. Billie Kay, again, this match came off pretty good between the two of them. Interesting look for a torture rack where like Billie Kay had the one of the arms trapped to go along with it, and Billie Kay goes over in the end. So, like I said, I felt like the match came off pretty good between the two of them, and we'll see where they go down the road and where they're going to be going with Billie Kay down here in the near future. You would assume if they're going to be playing up Asuka as a face, she's probably going to go up against Billie Kay. If they're going to play Asuka more as a heel, maybe they have her go up against Ember Moon right away. In that sense, like, that's the match I think people are probably more looking forward to, is Ember Moon versus Asuka. But are they going to go with it right away, or are they going to wait some time down the road here to actually do that match? So the final match of the night and the ending of the night went to Cedric Alexander and Andreas Cien Almas. This was a good match. Almas has shown so much more. First of all, the aspect that he's not going out there and looking like the Godfather anymore, it helps. It does help, because his look was not all that great to begin with the look that he went out there with, in the terms of, it's like you seem like you're dressing up as the Godfather, or like a Chippendales dancer or something like that. So he changed up the look, and like I said, at TakeOver, at the TakeOver Brooklyn, he came off looking really good. Like, the match that he put on with Bobby Roode was really good, and he was allowed to, show offense and show a lot more than what he had been showing going forward. And they do it again here. Him and Cedric had a really good match. I felt like the two of them played off of each other well. Cedric Alexander goes over in the end with that crazy backbreaker, that launching style backbreaker that he has. It looks really good, and it comes off really well. So good to see what they're going to be. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Cedric Alexander, whether or not he'll be up on the main roster mostly with the cruiserweights, or if he's going to be doing something down in NXT more than he would be doing on Raw with the cruiserweight side of everything. But again, both guys look good here in the end. Very good main event to go off the air for this week, to what was, I would say, a bit better of an NXT this week. The last few weeks, you could tell the rebuilding process is there and everything. And you can still tell that it's there, because you got to rebuild the women's division. You got to rebuild a couple of other areas of everything. You still have Gargano and Ciampa doing stuff with a Revival for the tag team titles to go along with it. So, like I said, this week's NXT came off pretty good. It came off pretty good, and we'll see where they continue to build everything, especially with the next NXT TakeOver being in November, with everything to go along with that. So, with that being said, that is my review for WWE NXT this week. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.